It's a little bit spotty, but
Yeah.
we'll do the best we can.
And
What's that? Trying to get a
is
little.
that the Deinonychus from there?
Yeah, my Deinonychus shirt.
Dan son?
Yep. So, yep. So he got me that.
And
So
there's the T-Rex behind you.
yeah, so I got a little bit of decorations here.
Yeah. T-Rex. Oh yeah, you got a tree.
Yeah. And here's
Yeah.
the Deinonychus claw
Oh,
that
there's the Deinonychus claw
Dan got
that
me.
Dan sent
Pretty
to you
cool. Oops.
with that shirt. Nice.
Yeah. Would be a small Deinonychus claw. I have another replica of a Deinonychus claw that's slightly bigger, like about that big, at work.
Different size claws.
Yeah, so
Bigger
different.
Deinonychus has a bigger claw.
Yeah, so there's different specimens of Deinonychus. Some are a little bit bigger, some are smaller.
Hmm.
Which we were talking about the Deinonychus that was sold, Hector,
I saw that article you sent out. Cool.
inches tall, which is basically 5 feet 2 inches tall.
Mhm.
At the Harvard Museum of Natural History, that one was about 4 feet 9 inches tall. So 5 feet tall. Anyways, Deinon-O-Zoom 5, and we're going to be talking about Uncle John again, more specifically, the brother of our uncle, our dad. So we're going to be talking about the brother of John. His name was Andrew, and I have a bunch of letters from our Uncle John to our dad. Going to be going over. So I also have a bunch of other stuff about Uncle John's here, like. That picture right there, you can't see it very well here, but I can show
Got a
it.
book.
Well, this is a photograph.
A photograph.
Yep. So this is a photograph of when they went on that trip, when they were still.
Okay.
This was in 1950 when they went and toured the national parks, and this is on the Grand Canyon. And they're riding horses or mules around the Grand Canyon. So I'll show that picture there. Let's see. There's Dad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And there's, right here is Uncle John. I think that one there is Uncle John. It's kind of hard to.
John.
Yep.
Nice.
So it's hard to see because it's a far away shot, but.
So that tree is gonna hold photos from the family tree.
Yeah, basically, I was gonna put a whole bunch over there, but I just put the one there for now. But yeah, I'll put
Nice.
more on there of like just family pictures and stuff. So it'd be like the family tree, which is a branch of the tree of life. So here's another picture that I have of Uncle John and our dad.
Yeah, both Dad, John.
Yeah, in a bifold.
Nice. Yeah.
There's John, and there's Andrew. So,
Yeah.
as we know, that their father, William Ostrom, was a ophthalmologist, and he wanted one of his sons to be an ophthalmologist, or both of them. He wanted someone to continue on the family practice of ophthalmology.
As an eye doctor. Yeah.
Yeah. And he was expecting John to do it. And actually, John was going to school for that
John.
at Union College. And but then he wanted to become a paleontologist. So he switched to, I have to look up the school, but to become a paleontologist. But our dad, as we know, became an ophthalmologist so that John could pursue his passion of paleontology. Another bifold of Dad on this
Yeah.
side with Dan as a baby.
That's Dan.
Yup. And then this is Uncle John
John holding. Yeah.
with Karen.
God's daughter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Karen. Yeah.
So about the same
Karen.
as Dan. So, yeah. So there's that picture of them. This is my big yellow folder that has all my stuff on Uncle John. This is a paper I wrote in college called The Jurassic Mix-Up, explaining that it was really Deinonychus in Jurassic Park. Here's my copy of Discovery, which was signed by Uncle John, which we talked about last time. And you had this book.
And I have that one too, signed John.
And then I have this one. I have some other cool magazines and newspapers. I'll get into those in a little bit. So here I have letters written to Dad from Uncle John. So I figured I would just go through these. I have them ordered by date and read a little bit from each of them, just to get a story down here, a little bit of what's going on. So we didn't see our Uncle John as much as we would have liked because he was really busy with his scientific stuff and Dad was really busy with his practice. But this was written March 1st, 1991. So we were at Windan by then. It says, Dear Andy, it was good to see you, if only briefly, last week. We're sorry that Gladys was out of town, but we're glad to see you in your log cabin. Very impressive. I promised you a copy of the Union address, and here it is. The planet and stuff like that. And I have that address that he gave, but I won't read that. So then the next letter, here's the next letter. This was 1993. So I put these are copies, and then I wrote the date there. So this one was after he received a book in his honor. So it says, Dear Andy and Gladys, this book will not mean much to you except that it was presented to me as a total surprise and as as an extraordinary honor. This is your copy. Read some of his handwriting. Oh,
it's hard to read this.
It was also on my 65th birthday. But even more extraordinary, it was conceived, planned, and produced by a bunch of my past graduate students as a surprise in my honor. So yeah, and then it goes on to explain that. Here's the book that he was talking about. That's
the one he's referring to.
Yeah, this is the book that he's referring to. It says Functional Morphology and Evolution, a special volume of the American Journal of Science dedicated to John H. Ostrom in appreciation of his first 25 years as editor of the American Journal of Science. So there's that. It's very detailed, kind of like scientific journals and entries and things about different it's pretty cool, talking about clades and evolution of fish or something, and talking about different clades of tetrapods. So anyways, there's that. All right, so let's see the next letter. So this is moving along in his
chronological order.
Yeah. So this one is in 1997. This one says, Dear Andy and Gladys, have a few minutes to try to bring you up to date on my foreign activities. I'm not sure how much you can appreciate what this venture means, so I am sending a recent issue of New Scientist, one of the better weekly scientific magazines that usually has good current coverage of geologic matters. See pages 32 through 35. So when that was 1997. That's when he was about to go to China to look at some new dinosaur fossils with
China.
feathers. Yeah.
That's news in China.
Yep. So he says, keeps on going. Having seen the site, oh, this is after, I think. I can tell you that it will be an extremely important site in the century ahead, sorting out the evolutionary record. I just hope that the Chinese listen very carefully to what the Western scientists they themselves sought out advise them to do. Right at the moment, we are in the middle of negotiations with the Chinese Ministry of Geology and Natural Resources. Our next trip is held up. The obstacle is that they refuse to accept the radiometric ages that we got on the rock samples we brought back from the field.
They haven't yet.
Yeah, this
Idea.
talking about that there. My involvement seems to be guaranteed largely because of the study I published 20 years ago on the German specimen Compsognathus, or Compies, which are in Jurassic Park, which has been the basis of my theory. Anyways, it goes on and on. I could continue.
Cool.
See. But yeah, and then he wrote one soon after that. So this was September 1997. And the next one, I think, is getting closer to going on his trip to China. And this one is December 1997. So he wrote, Dear Andy and Gladys, not sure whether or not you received the last letter and its enclosure September 10th, but I promised in that letter to keep you up to date. It's not set in concrete, but earlier this evening I got a call from Philadelphia to be certain I would be available. So now it looks like I will be going back to China very soon. So I guess he went twice. This is going for his second trip. US and Chinese officials are trying to set up an official agreement, signing in early January in Beijing. If that is accomplished, I will be flying off to Beijing on New Year's Day. As I told, the final agreement will be executed by their Minister of Geology and Natural Resources. The president of the Philadelphia Academy of Natural Science, and apparently myself as the leader of the team of the Western scientists. I'll keep you posted. He also included in that an article. This goes with the last reading. So this is pretty interesting. Can you see the map right there?
Yeah, I see it. Yeah.
So that's a map of China. Pen mark right here next to Beijing. I don't know if you can see it.
Oh yeah, an arrow pointing to it, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then there's a little note. It says here, site in red is located 10 hours train ride north of Beijing. So then he's basically saying that that's what he was marking there. The site, where the site is located. So it's giving him basically his travel plans for going to the site. And then he gives this article. So that's pretty interesting right there.
Yeah, that's interesting. Kind of like real information of the progress of that's in the travel.
Yeah, you can see the progression of the timeline of what's happening in his career through these letters to our dad.
Yeah.
Yep, pretty neat.
Yeah, and it had an impact on the way things are now. With the research he did.
So then the next one is February 19th, 1999. So
yeah,
this is after all of his trips and everything. And a lot of his letters are like, sorry, it's been so long, or sorry, it's like, it's kind of funny. So he wrote this letter in February 19th and didn't mail it till like a couple weeks later with this little note. So I wrote, sorry about the very bad correspondence. I guess we take after each other. Yes, haha. Not haha, but as you might.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, LOL. He says, as you might have figured out, I have been a little busy getting ready for the symposium, news interviews, TV recordings, meetings, dignitaries, and guests, etc. No apologies or complaints, but I'm afraid that the Nan and Karen have had enough. Now I am trying to write to all my colleagues to attend that really feel obligated to. And that all started a week ago yesterday, and it turned out to be much more than I anticipated by a bunch. So far, I have managed to write letters to half a dozen. I wrote Peg and Paul this AM, and now you. Nan and I are still trying to recover from the most incredible experience of my career. It started a week ago yesterday with more than 600 guests at a fantastic gala at the museum to launch a 3-month loan by China to Yale Peabody for the public display of the feathered dinosaurs from Liaoning province in NE, China. As I saw on our visit there last year, these specimens prove that the modern birds that we all know evolved from dinosaurs, as I have been trying to tell the world for the last 30 years now. They come to be shown. It's pretty cool, huh?
It is cool, yeah. That's real.
Yeah. He goes on, but I'll leave it there. And then he enclosed a pamphlet for the event.
Yeah.
Registration at February 13th, and then it goes through the agenda of the event. So, but yeah, really cool stuff. So then I have one. Hopefully I can get this in, because I think this is really interesting. So this one's in 2001. After I'm back from my mission, right?
Yeah.
And this was 4 years before he passed away. So getting close.
Yeah.
So it says, Dear Andy and Gladys, I thought of you when the first few came, but don't think I did anything or even told you. Maybe you know all of this etymology or know this person. I have copies of the material. I wonder about which town of Ostromdorf meant Holland. Ostromdorf. Remember? Yeah, it says.
He was asking about Netherlands, where the Ostromdorf came. Like they dropped the Dorf.
Well, Dorf means town in Dutch. So Ostrom town. So
Eastern. Okay.
He's asking about the Ostrom town in Holland. And
in the Netherlands.
Yeah. So he's talking about genealogy here because he got a letter from someone and he's passing this on to Dad because Dad was a genealogist in the family.
Right.
So, yeah. And then, so this is the letter that he received from someone with the last name Ostrom. So he passed it on to our dad. And this says, Dear Dr. Ostrom, I watched the piece on Discovery Channel concerning the possible relationship between birds and dinosaurs. It has always fascinated me, but the most fascinating part of the telecast was when they mentioned your name. We have traced our Ostrom name back to the year 1631, We came from the Friesland section of Holland, settled in or near New Netherlands in New York State. I noticed that the narrator of the telecast piece pronounced your name as Ostrom as opposed to Ostrom, which is our way of pronouncing the name. I am enclosing a copy of a letter that I received from Mr. Keen von Ostrom. Note the 2 O's, which explain the Dutch pronunciation of the name. Blah, blah, blah. So anyways,
they use 2 O's a lot.
Yeah.
2 vowels. Yeah.
But I found it interesting that he's talking about genealogy with our dad over others here.
It's talking about genealogy and our family ancestors. That's the tree of life.
Yeah, and the tree of life, the genealogy is the tree of life, and then evolution is the tree of life. So it's all connected. And
it goes coming down to a bite. It's coming down to bite.
Yeah. And then I know that family meant a lot to him, even though, he was really busy. He probably didn't spend as much time as he would have liked to with extended family, but I know it meant a lot to him.
Yeah. No, that's what happens a lot with families. Like you don't see people, you still love each other and still have an attachment to each other. Like,
yeah,
we haven't lost some of our nephews and nieces in years.
Yeah.
It happens to a lot of families.
Yeah. Lose touch with nephews, nieces, cousins, different things like that as time goes on, and but
people get busy.
Yeah. And then you look a couple of generations ago and those connections are forgotten because it's a few generations back, and it's like,
right,
those families used to be connected, but now they don't know each other, and that's all over the place. Like, but with
all over the place, yeah.
And sometimes I wonder what Uncle John thought of all of that about genealogy and stuff. But I have a couple more things to show. I was going to show some pictures. So there, Uncle John with his wife Nancy.
Yeah, nice.
And this is with it. Uncle John with Aunt Peggy. This one doesn't have Uncle John, but it has Aunt Peggy, Dad, Mom, and Paul there.
Yeah, at our house.
At
the land.
Yeah. Also wanted to show these. So this is when we went to visit him in Yale.
Oh yeah, gotta show these.
Yeah.
When we were 12 years old. Of us.
Yeah, we went to see Uncle John give a presentation when we were 12 years old. So that must have been like 1989 or 1990, somewhere in there. Let's see. The pictures aren't that great, but they're like
11 or 12.
Well, our tour of Peabody Museum back then, and the different exhibits that we were looking at.
Yeah.
It's too bad we didn't get a picture of us with Uncle John and our visit there.
Yeah, that would have been cool.
But they're at least not with this here. Here's us at Yale in front of one of the buildings at Yale. It was us standing in
that one?
Yeah, they were really tiny right there, standing in front of a building there at Yale. And there's this one of us in front of an exhibit of Deinonychus.
Yeah, that was a good one.
This one's me, and that one's you.
Yep.
Yep. But yeah, I wish we had more better pictures of that event. So I also have a couple more. That's not that postcard, but here's another postcard.
Oh, cool.
This one was 2001.
That's probably the one that I wanted to go to.
Yeah.
That was college, and mom and dad were gonna go. For some reason, we didn't go.
Yep. Anyways, I think that's it. I can't find the other one, that postcard that I found was actually when he was going in 1964. It had like a picture of like a mountain on it. That's what it was. But anyways, yeah. So I guess whatever else we'll find for another video next time, right?
Yeah, we can find more content for the next video.
Yep. And we have some more coming. So
yeah, we got more coming. Yeah.
So stay tuned for another video of Deinon-O-Zoom on Uncle John and the Deinonychus. See y'all later.
See you later.